eight, seven, six, five, four, three, two, one.
All systems go.
You're listening to Sudbury News Talk.
I want to show you something.
Stand by.
On the morning shift.
Anything
Could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sudbury News Talk. I'm AJ Walsh. Glad to be here with you. We're thankful that you're here with us. We're live on CKLU 96.7 FM on the radio, terrestrial radio. We're also streaming live, not only nationwide, but internationally at cklu.ca. You just click on the Radio Player Canada app and you can stream us. If you download the same Radio Player Canada app, you can take us with you and listen to us anywhere, anytime on your favorite device. We're also streaming live at Facebook.com and YouTube.com. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, follow the channel, the page. And then immediately following the show, it'll be found on demand on those two platforms, along with x.com/Sudbury News. Sudbury.news, which is our news aggregator. And yeah, so I'm just getting things ready here. I got ChatGPT ready to go. Just going to start a new thing where I'm just on the fly going to get the information I need, and then also give a disclaimer that I'm using ChatGPT as well, so that people don't get all worried about it, because that's I understand the dangers of ChatGPT, and I'm not just going to rely on ChatGPT for everything. However, it's going to help and assist whenever there's something needed on the fly, and I'm like, well, instead of trying to find that out, I'll just move on. Well, no, I'm just going to put it in real quick. Okay, what does ChatGPT say about this? And then give a disclaimer that I'm using ChatGPT, and then allow you to then, if there's a concern with the information, then you can then go and find it, which you should be doing anyways. Anything discussed on this show is our views on the news, including yours, because we encourage you to comment. We'll do our best to get your comments up on the screen for those watching, read for those listening, as we are doing a live video show along with a radio audio show, right? So we have to find that happy medium between the two. Not easy to do, but we found a way to do it. It's a very unique show. We don't do first-hand journalism a lot of the time. It's mostly grabbing the stories that have been collected from journalists and then unpacking them and discussing them and trying to make sense of the world that we live in, whether it's local, regional, provincial, federal, international. Just try and make sense of a continually complex and hard to understand world. Now, you might say, no, I understand it perfectly fine. I don't need anyone to unpack anything. And that's great. If you're that person and you understand everything, then I encourage you to comment and enlighten every one of us as to what your take is on any given matter, because most of the people listening or watching are just trying to figure things out in a very complex world. So that's what we do today. I got the ChatGPT ready to go just in case we need it for anything at any time. Just a little addition to the show. And we're just going to dive in with a little bit of weather first and a few local headlines. Then we will look at a few more national headlines. I guess the budget passed yesterday. That was an interesting thing, right? It was 170 to 168 were the final votes for the budget. A couple NDP didn't vote, and one Conservative who had already pretty much said they're throwing in the towel for their political career anyways, even though they ran 8 months ago and it was fine then. Things have changed for them. They didn't vote. So three people didn't vote. So it could have been, if those 3 people voted against the budget, it would have failed. But they didn't. Elizabeth May voted for it, even though she said she wasn't going to. If you've seen the video of her saying that she heard a voice telling her how to vote, that's interesting. That's interesting. So we're going to just dive in with a little bit of weather, and we'll be back with all of what I just mentioned and more right after this. So Sudbury weather brought to you by SudburyWeather.ca. Currently it is minus 8 degrees Celsius. There's a mist out there. So today we can expect a mix of sun and cloud. It's clearing late this morning. Wind will be very moderate at 15 kilometers per hour. High of -1. The wind chill -15 this morning. -3 this afternoon. Tonight, clear. Wind will be the same, 15 kilometers an hour. Low of -9. Wind chill -12. And then tomorrow morning, sunny. Becoming a mix of sun and cloud in the afternoon. Wind the same, 15 kilometers per hour. High of +1, so a little warmer tomorrow. Wind chill will be the same, -11 in the morning. And then tomorrow night, it'll be cloudy with -2 as your high. Thursday, 60% chance of rain or flurries on Thursday. High of +3, 40% chance of showers or flurries on Friday. High of +1. Then a mix of sun and cloud on your Saturday with a high of -1. +1, +3 are Sunday and Monday and cloudy. That's your Sudbury weather brought to you by SudburyWeather.ca. We'll be back with news headlines, your comments, and more right after this. Welcome back. Remember that song? If you don't, you're very young, and it's okay. It's probably better that you don't remember it because that means you're young. A show called Welcome Back, Kotter with Vinnie Barbarino and the gang. It was back in the day when everyone was watching the same show because there was like 3 channels. And one of them was probably French. And so if you're English, you had 2 channels. Or maybe it was 3 channels plus a 4th French channel. But anyways, that's the way it used to be. And things rapidly changed from there in a short period of time. But a show called Welcome Back, Kotter with, what's his name? His name just eluded me, but I'm sure I'm going to get people in the comments telling me who it was that played John Travolta. Yes, John Travolta played the main character. That was his big break, actually. That was what got him into notoriety and the film business. That was his beginning to his career, pretty much. Oh, look at that. I found that. That's interesting. I'm looking through some old articles. And today, I was hoping to shed some light on a little bit of bias in one of our local news organizations, but I might have closed it by accident. Let's see if I did. I probably did. Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah, I did. I closed it by accident. Oh, no. Now I found it. Look at that. Everything's good. Everyone relax. The show will go on. Everyone will get their money's worth. We have a few people joining us online here. Good morning, people. That is Northern Hillbilly joining us on YouTube. And Nana's also joining us here. Blessings to all. Same to you. Kiddo, yes. Speaking of feeling young, that helps for sure. I knew the budget would pass because sheeple don't matter. Okay. And Logic, good morning to you. And Nana says, I'll bet May heard Carney's voice offering incentives. Yes, I'm sure she did. She's an honorary member of the Liberals anyways, so that helps and goes a long way. And she's American too, so that helps. The budget really helps people with investments in the United States because it basically kiboshes Canada's economy and makes investing in the United States a sure thing. Good morning, Vin. Thanks for being on. Belinda, good morning to you. Okay. Good morning. Cherokee proverb. 2 wolves dwell within us. I love this proverb. One is good, one is evil. If you're wondering which wolf inside will succeed, it's simple. It's the one that you feed. Correct. I love that parable. I use it quite a bit. That, we all got the angel and the devil popping up on our shoulders. The one we listen to is the one where we get the consequences of our actions because we're listening to either one. And we have a good wolf within us. We have an evil wolf within us. And the one that wins out is the one that we feed. Thanks for that, Belinda. It's so true. It will always be true. Good morning, everyone from Barrie. That's Marianne, and she's liking and sharing as usual. Blessings, everyone from Denise. Thanks for being on, Denise. I think I got a video for you today. So the Palestinian flag, they're putting it up beside the Canadian flag at our town halls. I told you, Qatar is in our country, and they're taking our town halls one by one. I'm not special. There's nothing great about me. Just the information was given to us years and years ago. For those who had years to listen, and here we are now. So with that, because we're just talking about it now, we might as well get to it. I found a young man just describing the situation, and I found a bunch of other videos too. So I thought this one just summed it up. It's almost just like one of us talking about it. And so this is really for Denise, but it's for all of us. And this young man is explaining the idea of the, I'm not sure why. Oh, now it's on the bottom. They change things all the time. I don't know why, but they do. They change where things are located. Social medias are very interesting for doing weird things, but they did it. And here you are. So yeah, this is for Denise. For people who don't know, Islam is basically has been slowly chipping away in Western societies and populating and entrenching into our society in the background without us even realizing. But they do have a goal that one day they're trying to achieve, right? And it's not all Muslims, but there is a faction of them that could rile everyone up to kind of follow them. And yeah, so here you go. Here's an example of it.
The future is ours. Every ideal nightmare of a Muslim Europe will come true. They can be as mad as they want. I don't care. America will be a Muslim country. Russia will be a Muslim country. Islam will enter every house, inshallah. But we have to be a part of that change and never, ever apologize. We're unapologetic. Never, ever compromise. We're uncompromising.
When people say that Islam is not compatible with Western society, with a pluralistic society, this is exactly what we are talking about. You have this imam who is just casually saying in the UK out loud that America is going to become a Muslim country, Russia is going to become a Muslim country, that Islam is going to enter every house. Now, I don't know about you guys, but when I hear that, I don't think of a missionary project. I don't think of Islamic proselytizing. I don't think of him referring to Muslims converting people over to Islam through love and acceptance, which, by the way, is not really a large factor in the growth of Islam. It's primarily driven by high birth rates. But he's clearly not talking about faith or a personal belief. He's referring to a political takeover. His language is the language of conquest, and that is the language of people who think that the West is weak enough for them to come in and replace. The United Kingdom, where this imam is saying this, proves why they feel so bold enough to say this. Look at what's happening there. Nobody in America gets told any of this, but in parts of London and Bradford and Birmingham and Luton, the police won't even enforce basic laws if it risks community tensions. They have totally redefined the definition of Islamophobia to include race when Muslim is not a race. Their politicians have no backbone. They have no spine. They have entire neighborhoods where extremist preachers literally have more influence than the parliament. There are schools where kids are bullied for being too Western. Politicians as well as police and authorities have openly admitted that they don't talk about this, they don't say a word because they're terrified of offending the wrong people. It has gone beyond the idea of diversity. It has become a cultural surrender, and I'm sorry, the UK's done. There is no recovering from what has happened to the UK. And I already know that people are going to come in and say, oh, well, this imam doesn't represent all Muslims. Obviously, I know it doesn't. Most Muslims, or at least a lot of them, don't want any part of this ideology of the takeover, but this is the strain of political Islam. This triumphalist, we're going to dominate the West mindset is very real, and pretending that it doesn't exist is again exactly how the UK got caught flat-footed in the first place. Every warning was dismissed as racist or Islamophobic until the reality became too obvious to hide. And by the way, since the 60s, the UK's public opinion have continuously shown that they reject the influence of Islam in their society, and that they think the immigration policy has been horrible, and they think that too many people have been coming into their country and their politicians did nothing. And I'm sorry, but this whole we're never going to apologize, we're never going to compromise, never water anything down in our religion, it's not religious devotion. It is, again, political absolutism. That is a vision of society where pluralism does not exist, where you cannot disagree, where you do not coexist with people, you overtake them.
The future is ours. Every ideal nightmare of a Muslim Europe will come true. They can be as mad as they want. I don't care. America will be a Muslim country. Russia will be a Muslim country. Islam will enter every house, inshallah. But we have to be a part of that change. And never, ever apologize. We're unapologetic. Never, ever compromise. We're uncompromising.
So yeah, let's just play that quote again, obviously. So yeah, that was for Denise in particular, because she's been wanting to kind of have us, talk about this a little bit more, because it is such a prevalent thing that does not get talked about, obviously, as if you're going to hear that on the CBC or CTV or Global or any of the mainstream media. You're not, right? And so we just play it. That's a thing the person said. We're not making that up. That's not AI. And we're taking somebody's commentary on breaking it down. And now you can, this is your obligation when you hear this. If for some reason you think, oh, that's not true, or this particular radio show is misinformed by this, then you can take your own self to your own resources and find out your own information. And that's what it's for. That's what it's supposed to make you think. It's supposed to open up your mind and say, oh, are there other things out in the world other than what our mainstream media is putting in our heads, right? And good morning to you, Maurice. Good morning, Hazel. Prayer emoji, much needed, much appreciated. Very, very needed. Thank you. Good morning to you, Judy, as well. And Liette, all the way from Collingwood, beautiful area of the world. Good morning to you, and Jerome as well. Good morning, fellow Canadian prisoners. Oh, that's an interesting way of putting it. Prison Planet. And Larry, good morning to you. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being on, guys. So many really cool comments. I think it was Belinda who said maybe Elizabeth May heard the voice of Satan. Just a humorous comment, by the way. I'm sure you weren't saying that was true by any means, but we need to keep it light sometimes in the morning, right? So I want to get all your comments up on the screen as we continue to now look into some of our, and good morning, Brian, by the way. Good morning, Sudbury Patriots. As we want to get to some of the local headlines here. There's a few I want to touch on for sure. And let's see if I will get to it. Carney's nation building projects. You got your the nickel mine in Timmins. You got the CEO saying it's a great idea, obviously. And this is coming from Sudbury.com, because everything the federal government does on Sudbury.com is great. And I mean that, and I'll show that a little bit today. There's nothing wrong with the federal government. It's the provincial government that's the problem, according to Sudbury.com. And I think it's because of the political leanings, and I think it's because they're politically biased. And that's my opinion, and you can have your own opinion. It should not make its way into into media organizations, but it is true in Canada more than any other place that we're very biased in our media. Miles, see, Gabe Kaplan went on to professional poker. Okay. I was not aware of that for whatever reason. Okay. And good morning to you, Miles. Thanks for being on. And let's see here. So nation building, the CEO of the company that's going to benefit from the government handout is very happy. That's my headline. Like, why wouldn't he be happy? You imagine that? We're going to build a multi-million-dollar mine. We're going to give free money to the company to build their mine as nation building. Carney, you're just a crony. You're going to communism. I don't want your money. I want private investors. Is that what the guy's going to say? No, obviously he's going to say thanks for the free money. Duh. And if you're a journalist, you should be able to point things like this out. That's just the way it is. But, CEO is eager to make the case that Timmins nickel matters. Of course he is. He's getting free money. Who wouldn't? And you're doing the same thing because you're getting free money. So you're getting free money from the government to perform what people think is journalism. But you're just basically saying whatever the federal government wants you to say because you're getting free money. You can do almost anything in this world with money, is a quote I've heard from someone who wasn't very nice. And that's the way they roll. They use money to manipulate and think that they can get their way by just paying people off. Have you ever heard the term, everyone's got their price? Well, unfortunately, it's very true. Where's integrity these days? Where are people standing up for what's right? And regardless of money, do you have a price? Would you compromise your morals and principles for money? Bob, good morning to you. Good morning, folks. And Monique, good morning to you as well. Thanks for being on, guys. Espanola Paper Mill gets a miniature tribute from a modeler. So someone made a model of the Espanola Paper Mill, which is kind of neat. Normally don't cover some of the just feel-good stories on the show, but that's just a neat little thing. There's more on that. It's from CBC. Okay, here's one from Sudbury.com again. So, Survivor, sad in Canada may fail to eliminate cervical cancer by 2040. I will give an update here. They will never find a cure for cancer. They will never, because it's a huge business. Okay, I said it out loud, right? But journalists don't do their job, and they just keep going along with these narratives and just keep spewing out all the stuff that they always spew out. How long have we been given to cancer research? How many billions of dollars have they received to find a cure? And then in my studies, I found there are natural cures. Oh no, I said that out loud too. So, but they've just been shut down. One as close as Muskoka to us here. There was an indigenous person who found, just by foraging the things around Muskokas, they were able to cure cancer. Well, what happened to their establishment that they had? It was burned down. Their lab was burned down. And there's been so many other examples throughout the world that it's already been, conquered. But a survivor saddened that we won't find a cure for it by 2040. Well, it's already been found in the 1800s, early 1900s, right? So pretty crazy. And good morning, Trevor. Thanks for being on. And all the things I say here, if you feel I'm misinformed in any way, shape, or form, I'm fine with that, because what is information, right? information's out there. We have access to all kinds of information these days, and you can find the information yourself, right? And if you're happy with the mainstream media's information they're giving you, then you can be happy with that, and that's great. That's everybody's lot in life. You can do whatever you want. It's still what people call a free country, even though that's debatable. It'll be less and less free as all of these bills are being passed that we talk about on the show. Okay, so moving on down here, got to find the one I'm looking for. Here it is from Sudbury Star. Toronto's criminal gangs, American guns moving north to Sudbury. Well, that's interesting. Gun-related murders and attempted murders in Sudbury have climbed to their highest level in 5 years. That's the headline from the Sudbury Star, right? So, if anyone knows anything about anything, and they don't just rely upon mainstream news, and good morning, Diane, thanks for being with us. They know that that's true. They know that our streets are less safe. They know that the homelessness and addictions and mental health crisis are ballooning, and people don't even want to go downtown because of it. There's murders all the time. You hear of murder. Like, can you remember 20 years ago hearing about all these murders that we get in Sudbury? No, you don't remember that because it didn't exist. Now it's all the time, right? So it's at its highest level in 5 years. So that's according to Sudbury Star. But I found an old article. That's the one I thought I erased here. That I deleted, but I kept it because we covered this story on the show a while ago. And this is Sudbury.com. And remember, I tell you about Sudbury.com. They're very liberal. They lean towards spinning stories so that way they're more favorable to our federal government, where they go after the provincial government. And I'll show you an example of that in a second. So here they say overall crime down 4% in Greater Sudbury. So that's the headline from Sudbury.com, right? Because we know liberal policies have led, it's a good reason why the crime is up is because of the way they handle crime. So the way they handle guns, they go after law-abiding gun owners. So here's just going to be another push to take away hunters' rifles because there's more gangs with guns coming up from the United States, illegal guns. And good morning, Homestead. Thanks for being on. Right? So this is their headline, and that comes from only June 17th. That's not that long ago. And then if you compare that with the Sudbury Star, saying that gun-related murders and attempted murders in Greater Sudbury have climbed to their highest level in 5 years. So what's true? Who's being misinformed here? Someone's misinformed because those are two opposite headlines. And good morning, Betty. Thanks for being on. Right? Those are opposite. One coming from the Sudbury Star, one coming from Sudbury.com. So I'm hoping I can get to where the Sudbury.com here. They have a crowdfunding campaign, right? Crowdfunding campaign. Help us investigate the Skills Development Fund. So your contribution can make hidden government documents public and help our team of journalists at the Trillium uncover more about the Ford government slush fund scandal. I'm all for that. I think this is awesome. You guys are doing real journalism. That's great. And you're even crowdfunding for this, even though you get millions and millions of our federal tax dollars to operate, to provide journalism, unbiased journalism for us. Now, This is journalism. I applaud it. I think we need to be finding out about the slush fund. Journalism should be doing this all over the place, but not just for the political parties you disagree with. Right? Not just for the political parties you disagree with. You should be doing this at the municipal level, at the provincial level, which you are doing here because it's a conservative government, because you don't like conservatives. I'll just say that out loud. I'm going to save every single article I can put my hands on. I'm going to do a deep dive research, and just, if you don't believe this, and I want anyone from Sudbury.com come on the show and we'll talk about this subject. We'll talk about your unbiased reporting and see if it's true or not. See if you have unbiased reporting. I'm going to show this right now because I haven't seen one article about all of the federal scandals that have gone on, and there's many, many scandals. And you say to yourself, oh, what, really? There's been many scandals? Yeah. Okay, there's way more federal scandals than there are provincial ones, I can tell you that. Now, I only see you covering the provincial ones, though, which I appreciate, because you should be covering everybody's, whether they're conservative or they're liberal. And good morning, Ronald. Thanks for being on. Great to see you here this morning. So that's why I wanted to invite ChatGPT to the conversation, right? Because if I was a journalist and I said, oh, what's this guy talking about? Only the conservatives have scandals, as far as we know, and we need to crowdfund because we don't get enough federal funding to pay our journalists to actually do journalism. So now we're going to get even more funding from just people, because we know people will get behind journalists trying to find out about scandals, government scandals. And you're right, people do want to find out about them. They want to find out the real facts about the government. They want them to be transparent, and journalists are supposed to be the watchdogs for that, right? So I'm going to punch into ChatGPT right now. List the scandal, the Canadian federal government scandals for the last 10 years. Scandals or alleged scandals. For the last 10 years. Okay. Include Trudeau and Carney with one sentence explanation of each scandal. Now, again, if I would have had more time to rephrase that question and make it a little bit more, I would put concise. I would say, give me a concise, explanation of these scandals that they've had. But now it's scouring through the internet. It's trying to find all the scandals or alleged scandals, right, from the Liberal government that we've had. And I'm not a paid journalist. I'm a volunteer. And I love our paid journalists that are getting my money, my tax money, to do their job as being watchdogs for us. I love the fact that they're actually now crowdfunding to be able to dive deeper into the scandal in the provincial government, at the provincial government level, right? But they're not using the tax dollars that I've given them to do journalism, not only for that, because they're crowdfunding for it, but to dive into the federal government scandals as well. They should be doing, let's do a week on scandals, government scandals, period. Not conservative scandals, right? So this is where you have the media being weaponized, politicized, and one way to do that is to have the government pay you to make it easier for you to say whatever they want you to say, right? Now, does that need, am I misinformed by saying that? Is that human nature or is it not? If someone's paying you to do something, do you want to turn around and criticize them? And that's your job. Your job is to criticize. And look, ChatGPT is not even working right now. That's weird. So it won't even, it's just a dot. That's it. So I guess we'll wait for it to work. Maybe ChatGPT is politicized. Maybe it's weaponized. Now I've heard, and you've heard too, that different AIs out there, they have bias in them as well. And we see that all the time. So there's a few of them, right? There's OpenAI, which is ChatGPT. There's Grok, which is Twitter or X. And then you have Copilot, which is Microsoft. And depending which one you ask, you'll get different answers because, especially if they're politically related, right? So here, ChatGPT is not doing anything. It's not giving us this answer. But if you've had your finger on the pulse for federal politics, and I know many of you have, especially the ones on the show here commenting. Sheila, good morning to you. Also, good morning, Andrew. Thanks for being on. There's a multiplicity of scandals. And I've asked ChatGPT this before because I wanted to prepare. And since I have, let me just see if I can go, because I think I emailed it to myself. And if I can just get it here. See, scandals. No, it's not going to do it. So, scandals. Oh, I had it there. Liberal Scandal Green Slush Fund. Okay. Okay, here's the National Post. So I don't even have to do ChatGPT. So all the government scandals thus far, and when was this? 2023. Okay, so the National Post talking about all of Trudeau's scandals thus far, right? But harder to go through as all of the ads are loading, and it's almost impossible to read on the fly because the type is so small, and it doesn't have headlines with each scandal, its own headline, which it should. Oh, here's a Black Friday ad popping up. There you go. Where's the story now? It's all a bunch of other stories. It's too difficult to catalog all of them, so we just stuck to the ones that were after 2021. That's what the headline reads. Right? And I guess I have to pay for the National Post in order to read this story now or whatever. The story's no longer there. I'm not sure. But that was the headline, right? So I guess if you're in the government, federal government, and you have scandals, this is what you can rely on. When you go searching for the stories, they no longer exist. Who pays for the National Post anymore anyways, right? I was paying for ChatGPT, for crying out loud. So Brian just shared the list with me in the text. Can you just share it in the group chat, Brian? Or you already did? Okay. List of political scandals grouped by political affiliation. There you go. So I guess finding it on the fly wasn't as easy as I thought it would be. I thought just one simple search in ChatGPT would get us there no problem. But it didn't. It's just got the circle of death still there. It's still searching. So unfortunately, that is what it is. And I tried, everyone. I really apologize. I apologize. But it is what it is. We can't do anything for it. But if we're hoping for accountability, this hour, we'll leave it a little comedy. This hour has 22 minutes. Actually, did a really good job of showing us how our today's society holds people accountable. And this would include our journalists who get paid from our federal government, right? So here's a little bit of entertainment for you as we close up the show.
Get them! Get them! Make them pay! Make them bleed! Get them all!
Silence! We have gathered for the annual Punish the Rich Day, where the elites who act above the law pay the ultimate price for their transgressions.
I want blood!
I want blood too!
Judgment will be swift and public.
Shame!
Grocer, come forward. You stand convicted of price fixing most foul.
He made me mutton cost more.
Put out your hands and taste justice. Now, ice that down and get back to it.
Was that it?
Was that the justice?
For price fixing most foul?
He won't do it again, right? See? All good. You, telecommunications provider.
Oh, he'll get it!
I think he will! Otherwise, why are we here?
Through non-competition, which has starved this nation of affordable Canada-wide talk and text.
I can't speak to me, Mum.
Bleed the bastard!
On your knees. Stop it! No! 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 Bad! Bad phone man!
Do you mind going a bit harder?
It doesn't seem proportionate to the crime.
Noted. Your cries have been heard and will be considered for the upcoming guy. Bring me the tech mogul!
Get them! Oh, get them!
For the illicit sale of everyone's personal data most foul, you will be made an example of.
He took me SIN number.
And based on community feedback, I will leave his fate up to you. Will he get the axe or the pool noodle?
The axe.
Dear God, the axe!
Yeah, it's the axe. That's the only answer. Axe! Axe! Axe!
I'm hearing a lot of pool noodle.
No, you didn't.
No one said pool
No one
noodle.
said pool
I didn't say
noodle.
pool noodle.
This man shall be noodled.
Are you sure? Because I'm a very corrupt man.
Brace yourself. Yeah. Yeah. Nah.
They never get what's coming to them.
40 lashes.
Oh, tough but fair, sir.
Get them!
Okay, so this hour is 22 minutes, very political most of the time, and usually leaning, just like our mainstream media, more towards the left, only making fun of more conservatives. But here, there's a more general theme going here. It's just comedy. It reminds me of Monty Python, obviously, and I'm sure it reminded you of Monty Python as well, especially with the British accents. Anyways, that seems to be a parody on our elite these days, that they get away with everything. There's people that are above the law. I don't know if that's going to change anytime soon. I'm all for voting for that. I'm voting for everyone being subject to the same laws, being accountable to the same principles, and having to do their, if they did something wrong, they need to be accountable for it. It just is what it is. But our society treats them just like is in this parody from This Hour Has 22 Minutes. All the time we got for the show today. We'll be back same time, same place, on the same platform, God willing, tomorrow. Thanks for being with us, everyone. As everything is shutting down, I just froze. We got kicked off the computer at CKLU. I guess we're not supposed to play things like this to make fun of the situation. I have no idea. I'm just trying to do what I can do the way that I do it, and thankful that you guys do what you do the way that you do it. And we'll see you back on the show tomorrow. Remember to stay aware, like, share, take care, and stay tuned now for Earshot Daily on CKLU 96.7 FM. Ciao for now.
This is Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.